welcome back. I'm sorry for the video. I can't look at the camera correctly because I got it on landscape this time, but I'm going to be on script most of the time anyway, so it won't really matter in the end. Welcome back. It's the new year already. Yeah, time got away from me. I've been having lots of struggles, I guess. Although I had good intentions of making videos, I haven't gotten to it. So now, starting off the new year, on the 3rd of January, I will drop one. And this topic will be, what does the week of the life of this cancer patient look like? Well, this is going to be a little outdated because, yeah, you'll find out in a moment. But here is what a typical week was looking like until recently. So in the mornings I take my vitamin 6 pills and the pain meds. But the B6 is 3 times a day to control the nerve damage that often happens in fingers and toes with chemotherapy. Have to take the dog out and feed and water the animals, although I can't really walk a whole lot much anymore. I can, of course, manage to get downstairs and take the dog out for a potty break, but walks, although I might feel good on one day and say, okay, I'm going to take her for a walk, it very quickly proves to be a bad idea because then I suffer for 2 days and I can't do anything. So I'm very grateful. I wanted to say I start out my videos by saying how grateful I am for the wonderful support of family, friends, dog carers who come by and take Ella for walks, my daughters, and my very, very helpful, sympathetic, wonderful, wonderful people in my life who help me out, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful for lots of things, but I'll do a separate video for that, so this won't get too long. So on Monday mornings, then I have to drive to my general practitioner to get a blood test, which needs to be sent to my oncologist to see if I'm fit for chemo on Thursday. Now, and at some point during the day, I have to go to radiation therapy, which is scheduled for a different time each day. So just depending on when I have it, I have to go at 10 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon or 4 in the afternoon or 1 or whatever. It's just different every day. They just squeeze you in. But it doesn't really take that long. It takes 15 minutes, 10 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes when they have to do recalibrations and such. If you want to know what it's like in radiation, you can see my video number 24, X's and O's. It takes you through what what the chemo process is, what the radiation process is like. So that is a typical Monday morning. And then I have the pain meds, like and the other vitamins and minerals, but they're not directly related to my cancer treatment. That's afternoons. And before bed, of course, another B6, magnesium, potassium, an injection, every day an injection, heparin to keep my blood from clotting during the treatment because of my port, I guess. And increasingly for me, a sleeping pill, so I could sleep. Then often three or more times a night, my bladder will wake me up, and briefly, thankfully, I can get back to sleep mostly. But also, I've been ripped out of my sleep, from intense pain in my hip, which wakes me independently of my bladder. So that rips me out of bed to try and get some pain medicine, hence the sleeping pill, which allows me at least a few hours of uninterrupted sleep, which I think can't at all be a bad thing. So Tuesday, same procedure as Monday without the blood test. But lately, the oncologist's office has called in the morning to tell me I need to take the shot. So this is the super expensive one that works with your bone marrow to get your leukocytes and everything getting produced, and just ramps things up. So it's yeah. So I have to take that and then go in the next day to my oncologist's office and get another blood test and take it over to the lab so that they can determine whether I'm fit for my chemo on Thursday. So in addition to that, I also have to get the bone treatment once a month with my chemo. But I've kind of lost track of when they do it because there are so many things hanging from my chemo infusion, what do you call it, pole. So Wednesday, same procedure without the blood test. And then I also talked about going Wednesday to go get my blood tested. And Thursday is chemo day, and I'll go into a little bit more detail about that because people ask, why does it take so long? I generally plan, well, I have to get there at 8, and then I plan probably until 3 o'clock to be at the oncologist's office for chemo. So I get up early, I take my medicine, make snacks to take with me, take the dog out, feed the animals, and then I put a numbing cream an hour before chemo at 7 on my port so that it doesn't hurt so much when they stick the needle in it, and then I cover it with plastic wrap. And then you put on your chemo fashion, which sounds a lot more elegant than it really is. Just means wear something where the port is accessible on your chest, so no turtlenecks, anything like that, or high neck things. They like to see you in a blouse, but I don't own many blouses, so and something you don't necessarily care if you get blood on in case something happens and you get a little blood on there. And you'll be comfortable enough to sit in through warm or cold phases. So that's a little tricky in the winter, but I'm usually warm, so just a plain old long sleeve t-shirt usually works for me. I walk to the tram stop with all my paperwork, snacks, rubber chemo drug, gloves, and I could take a cab and get reimbursed for the expenses, but I'd have to pay out of pocket every week, and that's like 60 euros a week, which is a lot of money to wait around and get reimbursed for it. So I've decided I would just take the tram and deal with the consequences of that. Plus, it allows me to embrace my new hobby, which is talking to strangers. This year I've had some really wonderful, enriching exchanges, and I'm eager to share them with you in another video. And I generally plan, like I said, till 3 p.m. And the weekends are free. But why do I have 2 of these? I don't know. So I think I'll just take you through now what the chemo day looks like. No, I won't. I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to put out a separate video on why chemo takes so long. So I'll put out another video. But that was by weeks, for 4 weeks what I was doing radiation. Fortunately, radiation is done. It zapped me like I didn't believe, but only after the radiation was over. I was barely, I had no energy for weeks, but it's starting to come back now, and I'm grateful for that. And for the most part, chemo doesn't really have a huge impact on my sense of well-being. I might say otherwise afterwards when I realize that it's getting better, but I don't dwell on it, so it's just part of what I'm up to, and nobody can tell me how long I'll have to continue this. March was floated around, so I'll be at it for a little while yet. Right, so that's my video for now, and coming up, why does chemo take so long? So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.